okay, I just want to clarify here. Can the board override this? This is more of a question for Ms. Saunders. And it's one I asked on the telephone. Why can't the board say, this is nonsense. We'll comply with the law, but we're not going to do it right now. I mean, it's going to take time.
Well, that's a good question. And I have vetted that question. And what I was told is once a law goes into effect, the law is in effect. So I don't think the board can excuse a statutory requirement. And I don't recommend that. As I stated, this law really went into effect July 1. But they specified library materials. So we complied with school libraries, not teacher private libraries, which is why later I think many interpreted that law in that same vein, and they went in and put some clarifying language and a training to give guidance, because all districts were grappling with this issue and how to comply, because everybody wants to comply. Teachers want to comply. Everybody wants to comply. And so many may have, or some districts may have done both right out of the gate in the summer and took care of media centers as well as teacher classroom libraries. We did not, and most did not. So we are now having to address this in the middle of a school year, which is not ideal. But I back to your question, I don't recommend a mixed message. And as my conversation to the principals were, when the law goes into effect with clarifying language, the law is in effect. We are communicating the information. Those that are held responsible for the statute and enforcing the statute were conveyed that information. So
The form, I was looking at the form that's in there, where the person is reporting what they disagree with. Also, I like to see, I'm happy to see, have you read the book in its entirety? You
Yes.
know, because I think that's, there's just so many books that are, titles are being tossed around. So if someone's going to file a complaint, I like that. I don't know if there's an appetite for this, would we want to ask the source of their knowledge? In other words, did they hear about it from a student? Did they hear about it from a website? Did they hear about it from a peer review? Did they hear about it from a publication? Did they hear about it from social media? You know, I don't know if we want to do that or not, but it's something to think about.
On the form, you're asking?
Yeah. And then under final outcome, number 4 on that list, on that form, what would you like the final outcome to be for this library media item or items? I would like to see an addition there, remove it from classroom libraries, you know, that if somebody, if that's what they're hoping for. As far as comments made earlier about parental consent during the review, I personally do not believe there is any time we override parent consent. If, I have a hard time with removing books that could be restricted to parental consent, you know, and I applaud the library committee that worked to, when they looked at it and said, okay, this is appropriate for this age group, but it may need parental consent. Great, you know. I don't always agree with how other people are raising their kids, you know, but